Welcome back to another episode of Tech Sheck. And with us today, we have another luminary from Pakistan, Mr. Asim Ghaffar, the co-founder of EasyFresh. Welcome to the show, Asim.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Hello, everyone.
So, as we do, Asim, you know, Tech Check style, we don't waste a lot of time. Tell us, what is EasyFresh?
So EasyFresh is basically it's a startup that we just started like 4 months back or like 3.5 months back. And we are trying to kind of like replace or disrupt the existing Sabzi Mandi Aarti system that is in Pakistan. So idea really is, so it's not really replacement because it's a very big market, but we want to take some share of it. Specifically, we want to do is that to take stuff from farms, vegetables and fruits, and take them to the businesses in the city. So we are a B2B supply chain, agri supply chain, fresh produce startup. So and it's very similar to what Ninja Cart is in India. Yeah.
Got it. Well, that's very interesting. And, you know, one of the questions that comes up immediately over the last couple of years, I've seen a couple of players who are coming into this environment. So what is driving this activity in Pakistan?
So yeah, I think there are at least 4 that I can count, and probably there are others which are in stealth mode. Uh, uh, so the one, this is like a big market, like in terms of like volume, it's like really big market. Even in terms of, so from some surveys, just vegetable is like $6 billion, $7 billion market in Pakistan. So that it always attracts people. People have tried cracking it a few times earlier as well, but for the various reasons, maybe the technology was not there, maybe the other processes were not in place, maybe the talent was not there, and so on and on. But right now, this seems like an area where a lot of investors are also interested in. That's why some of the players in this space are also getting a lot of funding, even in Pakistan. In India, people have raised $150 million very recently, one startup. So this means that even the investors have some confidence that now there are the teams available in the market which can crack it. For us in particularly, I think it really, we started discussing different things. We read about some of the other players in the region, and one of the co-founder was already working in a B2C supply chain, and he knew that this problem of B2B all is there. So let's do something about it. So that's how we just then decided, okay, let's do something about it.
Okay, no, understandable. And you know, the interesting thing is, we know, at least a lot of us who are not living in Pakistan but connected to it, know the size and capability of our agricultural sector. And when you look at this concept that you're working through, who really benefits in the end? I mean, sure, you're going to try to make money and develop this, but where does that benefit end up?
Yeah, so there are a lot of stakeholders in this. So there's a farmer side of the things, and then there's also the businesses side of the things, and there are a lot of people like in logistics and warehousing and so on. So on the farmer side, the primary benefit is that currently a farmer has to go to a mandi, a market, where he or she sells the stuff. This means that first they will have to cut the crop, then they will have to arrange the logistics, and it's a fresh produce. So if they will cut it, the shelf life will start going down and down if they don't sell it within a day. So they take it to a market and try selling it. The buyers there, they know that they just have 3 or 4 or 5 days. So they manipulate them that, okay, price is not this and that. So in our case, because we directly go to the farmer and buy directly from them, so one, they don't have to arrange for any transportation. They will cut the crop once they have done the deal with us, and they can discuss in a much more friendly environment what should be the price. And we generally offer the same price that they can find out which is going on in the nearby market. So for the farmer, it's a very kind of like out of a manipulative kind of like environment, and more in an environment where it's an equal fitting. Then in the market, sometimes even when they sell stuff, they don't get the payment right away, or they get partial. So that's also an issue there. So it's not just about that they are getting a lot less. It is also that sometimes they are not getting it on time. Then they also have to pay commissions at market. So and on and on. So for farmer, it makes complete sense. If you are able to like buy stuff from them on regular basis, they will sell it to you. So it's not an that big an issue for them to convince why it's the value proposition there is. For the retail side, business side, in Pakistan specifically, these vegetable retailers, if I talk about them, they wake up very early in the morning, go to those markets, buy stuff from there. So we save time. So they just order 11 p.m., 10, 12 in midnight, using our technology. They will just order it, and in the morning we will deliver it. So they don't have to like wake up 3 a.m. in the morning, go and buy stuff and negotiate there. So it also makes sense for them, because previously it was a two-man business. One person was procuring from the market and other person was sitting on the shop. Now one person can manage it and the second person can run another shop. So on these two ends, there's a clear thing. But I think that in longer run, the major benefit is the whole country, because there's just too much wastage in this thing. There's like
Hmm.
30%, 40% wastage. So just
Right.
imagine if we can decrease that wastage, it will make a lot good money to us and to our investor, but it will also kind of like reduce the prices, and just it's a good thing to do, not to waste food.
Very true. No, I think, I mean, the premise is very clear and makes a lot of sense. So one of the last questions I have around the subject of this is, so Pakistan tends to have these very established groups, who run these businesses and have been running them for decades, in some cases centuries. What's the plan to circumnavigate or manage those groups?
So yeah, so yeah, exactly. There's an existing value chain that already exists, and right now what we have seen is that if you so farmers are kind of like on our side, so if
Hmm.
the value proposition is very clear to them.
Right.
So if we are rightly buying from them, if we are managing it in our warehouses in the city, we kind of like not interact that much with those existing supply chains. We are not going to their storage units. We are not going to those markets. So we are bypassing all of them. So they can still come and like damage the property and so on and on. But it's relatively hard to damage a property in Islamabad or Karachi or Lahore, where the big data center. They can disrupt the transport, like the first mile. But right now that has happened. That has not happened with us. It can happen, but in Pakistan these things has happened with FMCGs and other players as well. And there are
Hmm.
some set patterns on how to go about it. You do need someone with a good credential around security and thing administration, who can manage such kind of incidents in the rural areas or the suburban areas. So
Right.
if when it will come to it, when we will reach that scale, we have some people in mind who will be able to help us. Then also it's in the right now it seems that it is also in the interest of the government. Like the food security is like a really big topic right now these days. So in
Sure.
general we see that we are going in the same direction as where the government is going. So there we feel at least from the right circle, we will not only get the political will but also the bureaucratic will, that we need to make sure that these type of things do sustain. So we are not that worried that much about it. I know it can happen when we will reach a very really big scale. Then things can happen, but at that scale we will have a lot of more support from different people to counter it.
Understood. Okay. Well, good. Well, that's great to understand, and we wish you the best on your mission. It's a noble mission that can probably also bring a decent return if you
Yep.
can figure out all the dynamics, obviously. And with that, I come to our last question. Which is, what can the diaspora do to help?
So I think for different startups, they are in the different stages. Like at the current stage where we are actively looking to raise pre-seed, pre-series A money. So you can reach out to us. Some of the people already in Bay Area have committed to us. Some have already paid. So invested. So I think that's one way of helping us. Secondly, if there are other startups doing something around agri-tech anywhere in the world which they know about, maybe connect us to them, like how we can automate sorting and stuff like that. So maybe someone is using IoT in South America or China, which we can also leverage in our context. So that could be the second ask. So first ask is obviously investment, VCs, angels, and the second ask is like connect us with the good startups working in other markets.
Sounds good. Well, as you know, Asim, we try to keep these relatively short, so we're coming to the end of the session. First of all, wanted to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. Welcome.
And to our audience, we're barreling very, very quickly to 100 episodes. There's no shortage of interesting, cool concepts that are being developed in Pakistan to fit that market. It's a great evolution. Please continue to like, share, support us and the efforts in Pakistan, because we know in the end, hopefully it's going to increase employment and benefit the economy. And with that, I bid you all Allah Hafiz.